I recently read a report from a guy who, because of an intense travel schedule, was in 3 different major U.S. cities on the day news was erupting about more politically motivated chaos and violence in America. Now, like me, and in all likelihood, all he saw in person that day were normal people living normal lives. Now, I want you to let that sink in for just a second. In 3 cities, he only observed seemingly normal people living seemingly normal lives. Think about it like this. Let's say 30,000 people are going to be present at the next big Newsworthy fiasco. Now, that really seems like a lot of people, but it still only represents, now get this, 0.0001% of the population. To put that number in perspective, in my little town of 46,000 residents within the city limits, that would mean that 4 people were doing something monumentally and criminally stupid. 1 was doing something monumentally stupid, but not technically illegal, and 45,995 were seemingly minding their own business. So 45,995 people out of 46,000 were normal people living normal lives, not doing anything stupid enough to be quote-unquote newsworthy. And that really brings me to my point. Is newsworthy actually worthy of your time? Now, I know it's true that we tend to experience a greater level of anxiety when we feel like we don't have access to the information that we need. However, being flooded with more information than we do need can also create a sense of panic that just leaves us feeling overwhelmed and anxious. Back when COVID-19 quarantines were just beginning, quote-unquote, round 1, I suggested to my friends and family that rather than spending their time watching, listening to, and reading news and commentary, that they should add some news distancing to their current social distancing regimen. I'd like to take that just a step further. Let's imagine together for just a moment. What if, instead of spending our time watching the news, you and I spent more time watching our neighbors? Now, I'm not talking about becoming a peeping Tom or a nosy Nelly. I mean training ourselves to simply pay attention to the vast numbers of people in our communities who are just normal, going about their lives, minding their own business, not doing anything, quote-unquote, newsworthy. I'm talking about training our brains to recognize that what we see in the news is most definitely not normal. It's abnormal. There are those who study abnormal psychology, and they use what they call the 4 Ds to help frame it: deviance, dysfunction, distress, and danger. I'd say that far more often than not, those 4 Ds do a really good job of summing up what the media considers, quote-unquote, newsworthy. It's deviant, it's dysfunctional, distressing, and dangerous. So you and I have to learn to protect our inner man from this never-ending flood of bad, abnormal news that's causing us panic and anxiety. A lesson from Matthew 14 applies here. Peter was literally walking on water at the command of Jesus, but, as you know, it's practically impossible to keep calm when you're fixated on the storm itself, like Peter started doing in verse 30. So yes, stay informed of critical updates, but turn off, mute, ignore the commentary. Turn your eyes upon Jesus. Meditate on his word. Philippians 4, verses 8 and 9 says it this way. Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is worthy of respect, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is commendable, if something is excellent or praiseworthy, think about these things. And according to Paul, what is the result of this mental strategy? He goes on to say, and the God of peace will be with you. If you do this, I can practically guarantee you that it will help you stick the landing when the next news storm tries to turn your life upside down.